Yo, yo, yo. Today you join me for a real treat. South Norwood Country Park Parkrun. Now this is my absolute favourite, though it is my local, so I'm a bit biased. Situated in the posh part of Croydon.
Posh part of Croydon.
Drop the rope. There is no posh part of Croydon.
It's comparative, isn't it?
I joke. It's situated not too far from Norwood Junction Station. There are even nicer bits of Croydon if you're heading down to Addington and Addington Hills. Speaking of which, we actually have a race run by the club in October, so I'll drop a link to that below. So check that out if you'd love a lovely trail race. You may have noticed I got a new little toy, so if these little aerial shots of the country park or of the parkrun in future is helpful, please let me know. And we're off. Does get just a tiny little bit crowded at the start, so just be patient. Somebody did bump into me here, but he apologised straight away. So
It's alright, mate.
yeah, if you're in that kind of 25-minute to 40-minute bracket, the start can just be a little bit crowded, but yeah, just take your time. It's very slightly slanted downhill, so everyone will be going a little bit quicker than they will be for the rest of the course. As always, I will give a quick overview of the course, and you can see the stats down in the bottom right hand side, as well as a couple important bits about the course. Now there are a few things of note that I will mention throughout the video that are good to know. So just starting with kind of PB potential, I would say that it's moderate in good weather like this. You know, it's dry, we're on a hard trail pack. In winter, PB potential is very low. This kind of... Oh, that was me just checking my camera was on. This is all good, it's all hard trail and great to run on in summer. Even in winter this section is not too bad, but you will get some massive puddles as well as some really quite slippery mud at the back. It's so much fun in winter, but you will not be setting any PBs. There's typically around 250 people at this parkrun. You know, it's offering a nice, relaxed, welcoming community atmosphere. There's a little bit of busyness at the start. Outside of that, it's not too bad, but there are two narrow sections in the final kilometre that you just need to be aware of. It's two sections of maybe about 300 metres each where it does go down to single file. You could maybe overtake, but it is quite narrow. They do actually have pacers on the first Saturday of every month, so that's a really good fun little challenge to set yourself as well. But feel free to take your time and just enjoy the country park. We're coming down the back straight. This is actually where the first drone shot was of, and there's a right hand turn coming up, which is always manned by the marshal, so just turn right down the hardcore gravel path. And speaking of the path and terrain, probably about 3 kilometres of it is on this kind of hard gravelly trail path. Perfectly fine to run on, won't get slippy. You will get some really quite big watery puddles in here in winter, but my advice would be just to run straight through them. If you start trying to avoid and go to the side, that's where the mud and slippiness will be. The remaining 2 kilometres is through a field at the back, which again in summer, very dry, a little bit bumpy. I'll point that out to you when we get there, but it is quite slippy and muddy in winter, so trail shoes definitely needed in winter, not required in summer at all. As we continue down this path, you'll see a couple openings on the left hand side. There's actually quite a big kind of lake here, lake, pond, whatever you want to call it, but there's a very interesting project to reintroduce beavers to South Norwood Country Park, which would make this the only park run through a beaver nature reserve, so that may be something to look forward to in the future. So you'll see there's a couple corners coming up ahead. So again, all very well marshalled or coned. It's quite difficult to get lost on this course, so I wouldn't worry too much. But there is just a little crossroad here. Just go straight ahead and turn right here. I will say in winter, again, this is a bit that gets the biggest watery puddles. It's difficult to imagine on this very hot and sunny day, but this bit gets absolutely flooded in winter, and again I just recommend you just run straight through it, enjoy the splish splash. It's from this little stream on the right hand side, I believe, but yeah, we just carry on following this path round. Very difficult to get lost, just keep going. Now, getting back on track with good things to know about this park run. There is a toilet here, but it is just a small toilet with only one cubicle. So if you do think you're going to need a toilet, just arrive a little bit early, just in case there is a queue. And that's actually situated at the local Café, kiosk, which is community, volunteer run, non-for-profit. So I would definitely recommend that you stick around for a cup of coffee and some snacks at the end of the park run. Now we continue down this path for a little while longer. Again, this was just where that second drone shot was from. If those drone shots are helpful, please do let me know and I'll try and bring it along. I'm just a little bit self-conscious of using it in public at the moment, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm only using it in quieter areas and not disturbing anybody. But if it is like, you know, giving you a nice overview of what the surroundings is like and you think it's valuable to keep in my videos, I'll make sure to include them in the future. So yeah, we've spoken about the cafe, definitely stick around for that. In terms of getting to Norwood Country Park, even though on the map it might look like it's quite far away, it's really quite easy to get to on public transport. Norwood Junction is really quick from central of town. Just going to stop talking here as you turn right here over the little stream and continue down one final path. I will say the narrow bit is coming up in about 400 meters. So if you're on a day where you're pushing a little bit harder and you've got a bit of a crowd around you, this is your chance to just break free of the crowd a little bit, because it will go down to single file as we take this next corner. I think that might actually be what these guys overtaking us are doing. You want to just make sure, if you're really pushing, that you've got a bit of open space ahead of you, but you've got plenty of time to do it, so don't go elbowing people out of the way. And this is around on the second lap where you might start overtaking people and lapping people, so again, on those narrow sections, just be extra mindful of those around you. So yeah, Norwood Junction Station, very easy to get to, but there's also great other public transport here, including Harrington Road tram stop, Elmers End and Birkbeck Station. So we come into the end of the wide section, we turn left onto the field here, and this is where you need to just be a little bit careful of the ground. It can get a little bit rough and ready around this section, particularly at the end. So you'll notice here everyone's kind of in single file, so just use this as an opportunity to enjoy the surrounding, catch your breath a little bit. There's another section at the end in about 100 meters where it'll open up again and you can stretch your legs if you feel so inclined. This bit underfoot is not too bad, but there's some really quite bumpy ground coming up, so just pay attention to that, watch your step, make sure that you're okay on there. And yeah, in particular on the second lap, you may just get a small amount of congestion here, but it opens up shortly. I'm just going to be quiet as you just come to the end, and before the corner, this is where the bumpy section is. So just be a little bit mindful because you're going to be itching to speed up, but there's some lumps and bumps just coming up, so make sure you watch your footing here. And now we are on the back stretch of the field and it's all nice and open again. On your second lap you'll have about 1 kilometre to go from here, so just bear that in mind for your pacing. You're gonna have about 500 metres of open space, and then we're gonna have a 200 metre very narrow section again. Now it's a guy's birthday up ahead, so everyone just running by wishing him happy birthday. That's the kind of park run this one is. Now we've talked about public transport to get here. There is also quite a lot of free parking. There's a small car park right by the entrance, but that does fill up quite quickly. There is also free parking just on Albert Road and around Croydon Sports Arena car park.
Happy birthday, mate. Thanks very much. It's my actual birthday for once.
Yeah, I know.
I usually touch on dogs and buggies. This is definitely a dog friendly course. You'll see lots of dogs just out for their usual walk. I would say over summer, you know, in this crazy weather, we've not seen too many dogs at Parkrun. Oh, just before I keep on chatting, make sure you don't cut the corner there. You need to take this second right hand side, again, very well marked, and just follow this round the path. Now this is your last little chance to overtaking the one who's in front of you, or just to let somebody overtake you, as the narrow section is coming up here on the right. It's also quite a good one for buggies. We see quite a few buggies around here, and I'm always pretty impressed with their effort, though it will be substantially harder in winter, as this gets quite boggy, and then the hill at the end gets really boggy and slippy in the middle of winter as well. So we are onto the narrow section, and we've got about 200 meters here, and then it's go 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 time, 300 meters up and down the hill to the finish line. Now I was a little bit silly today because my battery actually ran out after one lap, so you're only going to get the one lap preview, but I will show you where it peels off for the finish line and where your second lap will begin. Now if you have travelled down to South Norwood Country Park, again thank you for visiting our lovely local. And there are a few things to do in the area. Actually, after I do my park run tomorrow, I'm heading over to Stanley Arts to watch some live comedy. They have quite a lot on there, live event, music, dance, comedy, loads of things on there, so have a check on if anything is there. If nothing's on there, we're not too far from Crystal Palace for the busy little Crystal Palace triangle, so there may be some stuff on here. So we round this corner and we now have about 150 metres uphill and 150 metres downhill. For your second lap, this is hopefully where you conserved a little bit of energy on that narrow single file bit, and this is where you really open up, spread those legs and push for the finish. Sorry, stretch your legs, not spread your legs. My last suggestions for things to do in the area, obviously I mentioned the cafe and the kiosk, definitely stick around there if you have time. And yeah, just enjoy the country park. Perhaps if you come into this in a couple of years time, or I don't know how long these projects take, we might even have some beavers, but it's a well-known bird spotting reserve as well, so just enjoy the nature of the park. This hill is, you really do have to push quite a little bit up here. It's not too bad in summer, but that's going to be nice and slippy for you in winter. Nowhere near as bad as Lloyd Park. You can see, just if you look on the graph on the bottom right, that incline is really noticeable, and now we have this sharp decline getting ready for the finish. And I keep on talking about how it is in winter, but the bottom of this hill does get slippy in winter, so just watch your footing. Now, not long left of this video, so I hope you have enjoyed this one. If there are any comments or feedback, please do let me know, and I will continue to try and improve the results. So on your second lap, the finishing funnel is just on your right hand side here. You'll just see big finishing arrow, turn right there, and the finish is there.
Cheers guys, thank you.
Quite nice. I usually shout out the time there so you can get an idea of halfway what your time is. But yeah, my battery died just about now, so I was pretty happy I at least managed to get the first lap in. There's me checking the camera, and there's the battery dying. Now, even though the camera stopped rolling, I did get my sprint finish in. Now, the main reason for that sprint finish was I was heading over to LonDone Stadium to watch Josh Kerr run the mile, and this was incredible. This was 200 metres to go, and I think reality set in here that he was actually gonna bloody do it and set a world record. So enjoy this final 50 metre sprint. The sound inside the stadium was wild, and until next time, peace. GG.